Let's get right into it. Number 7. The Overconfidence Virus. Here's the thing about stupidity, it's contagious. Not like a sneeze, but like an opinion. When someone loudly claims to know how things really work, it spreads through social circles faster than Wi-Fi rumors. The more confidently they say it, the more people believe them. Confidence infects, and that's the scary part. Psychologically, humans use confidence as a mental shortcut for truth. Your brain doesn't have time to fact-check everything, so it treats strong conviction as evidence. They sound sure, so they must be right, except they're not. This is how we end up with entire movements, conspiracies, and dinner table debates powered purely by swagger. It's the overconfidence virus in full bloom, a mass outbreak of misplaced certainty. And it's not just random internet people. Studies show that when people think they understand something, like how inflation works or how planes fly, they stop looking for actual information. Their brains file it under known stuff and move on. That mental closure makes them feel smart, even if their explanation would make a science teacher cry. The overconfidence virus thrives in groupthink and social validation. One person says something dumb with enough confidence, others copy it, and suddenly it's common sense. It's like the flu, but instead of coughing, you just spread bad takes. Basically, stupid people don't just think they're smart, they make other people think they're smart too. It's an epidemic of misplaced certainty, and we're all slightly infected. Number 6. The bubble of ignorance. Imagine living in a bubble where every opinion you have sounds brilliant because everyone around you agrees. Congratulations, you've entered the bubble of ignorance, where stupidity echoes louder than logic. This happens because human brains are lazy little algorithms. We crave validation, not correction. So when you hear something that confirms your belief, like coffee cures all diseases, your brain lights up with dopamine, the same chemical you get from snacks, compliments, or watching dogs wearing sunglasses. That's confirmation bias, baby. It's the mental filter that deletes inconvenient truths and amplifies cozy lies. And the dumber you are, the more comforting those lies feel because they keep your fragile worldview intact. In the bubble of ignorance, people stop learning because they feel like they already know enough. Social media turbocharges this by building little echo chambers where everyone shares the same opinions, same memes, same collective delusion. It's like an infinite kindergarten circle where everyone nods and says, "Yes, Timmy, the earth is flat." When someone finally tries to pop that bubble with facts, it feels like an attack. That's why people dig deeper into nonsense instead of backing off. The mind defends its ego harder than it defends reality. So, stupid people think they're smart not just because they don't know enough, but because their environment constantly applauds their ignorance. It's a self-sustaining illusion built from algorithmic hugs and mutual delusion. Basically, stupidity doesn't echo in silence, it thrives in chorus. Number 5. The illusion of simplicity. Ever notice how some people think they could totally run the country after watching a 5-minute YouTube video about economics? Yeah, that's the illusion of simplicity, the brain's favorite lie. Your brain hates complexity. It's like that friend who doesn't do math but insists they're great at budgeting. So when it encounters a complicated problem like climate change, healthcare, or the plot of Inception, it oversimplifies everything until it feels manageable. This illusion makes people believe they understand something deeply just because it feels simple. It's like looking at a car and thinking, "Yeah, I get it, wheels, engine, vroom. You don't need to know about combustion chambers or torque. It seems straightforward." Psychologists call this the explanatory depth illusion. When people are asked to explain how everyday things work, like a toilet or a zipper, their confidence collapses halfway through. Turns out, they didn't actually know, they just felt like they did. And when you don't realize how little you understand, that's when the "I'm smarter than the experts" mindset kicks in. Because experts see all the hidden gears, the messy nuances, the contradictions, while the overconfident just see a problem that needs common sense. Basically, the dumber you are, the simpler the world seems. Complexity hides intelligence, oversimplification hides ignorance. So the next time someone says, "It's actually pretty easy if you think about it," just know, they haven't. Number 4. The smart costume. Here's a secret. Looking smart is way easier than being smart. That's why some people wear intelligence like a costume, big words, confident tone, and a splash of fake data for sparkle. It's performance art, not intellect. This trick works because our brains are suckers for presentation. When someone drops a phrase like empirical analysis or quantum resonance, our inner critic shuts down. We assume they must know what they're talking about. But half the time, they're just playing verbal dress-up, layering buzzwords over confusion like a trench coat over pajamas. Psychologists call this pseudo-intellectualism, pretending to know things to gain social credibility. It's the mental equivalent of flexing an expensive watch that doesn't tell time. And here's the kicker. People who don't actually know much are more likely to use jargon to sound smart. Real experts, on the other hand, explain complex ideas simply because they understand them. Einstein once said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." Meanwhile, fake smart people say things like, "Well, technically, that's a false dichotomy of systemic paradigms." It's nonsense that sounds brilliant, and that's the point. So when stupid people think they're smart, it's often because they've mastered the look of intelligence, not the substance. A little vocabulary, a little swagger, and boom, instant philosopher. Basically, they're walking TED Talks without the ideas worth spreading. Number 3. The Ego Protection Program. If there's one thing the human brain refuses to tolerate, it's being wrong. Your ego is like a fragile houseplant. It needs constant protection from the cold winds of reality. So when confronted with proof that you might be, wrong, your brain activates the Ego Protection Program. Deny, deflect, rationalize anything but admit ignorance. This psychological defense mechanism is called cognitive dissonance, the uncomfortable clash between what you believe and what's true. It feels awful, like hearing your own voice on a recording. So instead of adjusting your beliefs, your brain adjusts reality. That's why people double down on nonsense. Someone shows evidence that contradicts their opinion, and instead of saying, "Oh, I didn't know that," they go, "That's fake news," or "You've been brainwashed." Because accepting you were wrong hurts your ego more than living in delusion. And the less someone knows, the more emotionally attached they are to being right. Knowledge brings humility. Ignorance breeds defensiveness. In other words, stupid people think they're smart because they have to. Their entire sense of self depends on it. Basically, the Ego Protection Program is your brain's way of saying, "We'd rather be confidently wrong than uncomfortably right." Number 2. The Curse of Certainty. Let's talk about certainty, that delicious, warm blanket of, "I just know I'm right. It feels great, doesn't it?" The only problem, it's often a lie your brain tells itself for comfort. Humans crave certainty the way toddlers crave sugar. We hate ambiguity. We hate gray areas. So when faced with incomplete information, your brain fills in the blanks confidently. You don't know the full story? Doesn't matter. You'll just feel like you do. This is why conspiracy theories feel so smart. They give simple, confident answers to complex, confusing realities. It's not random chance, it's all part of a plan. The logic is emotionally satisfying, not factually accurate. Neuroscientists call this the need for cognitive closure, a fancy way of saying your brain would rather be wrong than uncertain. Stupid people fall for it the hardest, because uncertainty requires humility, curiosity, and patience, traits that take effort and self-awareness. Meanwhile, the smartest people are usually the most uncertain. They'll say things like, "Well, it depends," or "I'm not sure but," because they know how much they don't know. They live in the gray zone of complexity, while the overconfident live in the black and white fantasy of being right. So, why do stupid people think they're smart? Because certainty feels like intelligence, and the brain doesn't care if it's true, it just wants to stop thinking. Basically, stupidity is often just confidence with bad Wi-Fi. Number 1. The self-awareness black hole. Here's the final and cruelest twist. Stupid people think they're smart because they literally can't tell the difference. This isn't just arrogance, it's a measurable cognitive glitch. Remember our old friends Dunning and Kruger? Their research showed that incompetence robs you twice. First, it makes you bad at something. And second, it makes you unable to recognize how bad you are. That's the self-awareness black hole where ignorance eats self-reflection like a cosmic vacuum cleaner. You don't realize your own flaws because you don't have the tools to detect them. You can't spot bad logic if you don't understand logic. You can't see bad writing if you've never learned grammar. You can't hear your own off-key singing if you don't know what key means. It's like trying to fix your car engine with a hammer. You're confident, sure, but also fundamentally clueless. The weird part? People who are actually smart often experience the opposite problem: imposter syndrome. The more they learn, the more they see how much they don't know. They notice the gaps, the uncertainties, the infinite layers of, oh no, there's more to this. So they doubt themselves precisely because they're aware. Meanwhile, someone with zero awareness feels no doubt at all. They're walking around with cosmic-level confidence, certain that their half-baked opinions are Nobel-worthy insights. And that's the final paradox. Intelligence breeds humility. Ignorance breeds ego. The smartest person in the room questions themselves. The dumbest person lectures everyone else. Basically, it's not that stupid people pretend to be smart, it's that they live in a reality where they already think they are. So next time someone says, "I don't need experts, I've done my own research," just remember,